Today's video is sponsored by Thrive Market, and I will tell you a little bit more about them later in the video. Hello and welcome back to my channel. My name is Hannah and this is Jar of Fireflies. Here I make videos all about my life as an Orthodox Jewish homeschooling mother of 4. And today, it's Friday, so we are getting ready for Shabbat. That's right, folks, today is Friday and we are getting ready for Shabbat. The main things that I need to do today are cooking a couple of things. I'm cooking a couple of new things today for you guys, so I'm super stoked about that. We're going to be making Deli Roll, which is a super traditional side dish for Shabbat lunch. It's super delicious. It's one of my faves. And then I'm gonna be making Hamin or Cholent. I have shared in the past Mr. Firefly's version of Cholent or Hamin, and today I will be sharing mine. They're not massively different, really, probably. They are. No, they are. Especially the process by which we make them. I think mine is a much simpler process. But anyway, so we're gonna be working on that today. What else is going on here? Okay, I sound like I'm getting over a cold because I'm getting over a cold. Like everybody we know got this cold. I was so sick for like 2 days. Thank God, I am much better now, but I just still sound like I have a cold, even though I don't. Like, I feel fine. Most of the rest of my house also has the cold now too. Like, it has just come through and gotten to us all, and that is okay, because these things happen. Like, everybody we know has been getting sick lately. It's just like going around. So this week in general has been a pretty quiet week, and then we didn't invite any guests or anything for Shabbat because we're all just like getting over this cold. So we didn't want to be super sociable, but that's great because then we're going to get to be able to spend Shabbat, just our family, reading, playing games, spending time together, maybe going for walks. I don't know. It's been kind of rainy lately here also, so I don't know that we're going to get outside that much, but no matter what, it will be a good time. This past week has been pretty chill. Not really done a whole lot. Again, with people feeling under the weather here in our house, we've just not been going out any more than we absolutely have to. So that's been kind of nice too. It's been kind of chill to have a break. And of course, this has thrown a loop into the end of our school year, but I'm not really too concerned about that. We've kind of ended school for the year almost. We're going to finish up a couple of books that we're reading for history. We're going to finish up our math books, and we're going to finish up one more science lesson to finish the unit that we're in now. We might finish geography. Now that I'm saying it all out loud, it sounds like a lot more, but I promise we're cutting a lot out, and that is okay. I have started planning next year's school year. I won't have any time, I'm sure, to get to that today, but I have started like ordering materials that I want to use for next year and started to organize like how I want our year to be and things like that. So super stoked about that, and I'll be doing a whole video at some point once I got that a little bit more under control on how I am planning out our school year for next year. Okay, so that is that. And I'll recap this year a little bit in that video and kind of talk about like what we did this year, what worked, what didn't, and what we're doing going forward. Because changes, always, always. This is like, what are we now? I'm going into my, no, this year, what grade are you in? You're in 4th grade? Oh my gosh, okay, so I now have 5 years of homeschooling under my belt. You think I'd have it figured out by now, but no. Why? Because there's always room for growth. Let's just put it that way. There's always room for growth. And I mean that as like a personal me as the educator, not like my kids. Obviously, there's always room for growth for kids because that's literally their job. Anyways, enough of all of this chit chat. Let's dive in and start getting ready for Shabbat. So the first dish that we are going to be making today is called Deli Roll. Like I said, huge favorite traditional side dish, Shabbat lunch. Basically what it is you take puff pastry, you put something on the puff pastry like I like to use a Dijon mustard. You could also use barbecue sauce or combinations of different kind of sauces, and then you put deli meat down. I'm using turkey today only because that is what I have in the fridge and we need to eat it, so that's what I'm doing. Corned beef is also really good in Deli Roll, but I do not have that and I'm not going to go out and buy it specifically for this. And then you just roll that all up together and then you bake it in the oven. So it's sort of like a puff pastry sandwich roll up kind of a thing. And it's awesome and I love it. Okay, so we're gonna make a gluten-free and a gluten version. So I'm gonna start with the gluten-free one because I like to keep that stuff totally separate. I don't wanna do both at once or put them on the same tray or go back and forth between the two because that could just be like way too much hand washing and risk of cross-contamination, and yeah. So we're gonna make a gluten-free one first and then dive into the gluten version, but I'll kind of talk you through a little bit here. Anyways, I'm rambling. Let's go. I use the Pepperidge Farm puff pastry sheets. I'll use an entire box because I will make 2 because my family will eat them. And then for the gluten-free one, I'm using this Ariel version of puff pastry sheets. Super delicious, turned out absolutely amazing. So I'm just pulling out a sheet of that gluten-free one and laying it on the counter so that it thaws a bit. And once it's thawed, I added it to a baking sheet. And now I am putting on some Dijon mustard. I like to use the stone ground. Really, you could use any mustard or kind of whatever your favorite sort of sandwich spreads are. It's a super flexible dish. So I grab a knife, I kind of spread that around a little bit. And now I'm going to grab some kosher turkey breasts, just some deli meats. And I'm going to add that on in a thin layer. I think it's like 2 slices thick is what I did for this because I will be shortly rolling it over on top of each other and there'll be plenty of deli meat in proportion with everything else on there. Okay, now that everything is all laid out, I'm just going to gently lift up the end and start rolling that pastry, that puff pastry sheet over onto itself and onto the deli meat and everything so that it's going to roll over into kind of like a pinwheel shape, and then I have a nice deli roll. Okay, we are almost ready to put this into the oven. I have got some Gold's sweet and sour chicken sauce, and I'm just going to use a pastry brush and then add this on top of my deli roll. This gives it just a little hint of a sweet flavor that just like really rounds out this to like the perfect little side dish with a little savory, a little sweet, a little everything. This also gives it a nice shine on the outside after it's baked. Alternatively, you could use like eggs or something like that instead, like do a raw egg wash there on top. Anyways, I am putting that into the oven on 350 for about 30 to 40 minutes, just till it's a nice golden brown color. With 4 small children, getting out to the grocery store is not a simple task, especially when I'm going to multiple stores, trying to find the best products for my family, things that are kosher and gluten-free, and of course, trying to save money. This is where Thrive comes in and makes my life so much easier. Thrive Market is an online membership-based grocery store on a mission to make healthy eating affordable and easy for everyone, with guaranteed savings on every order. With Thrive, I'm able to buy the highest quality grocery essentials, eco-friendly cleaning supplies, non-toxic beauty products, supplements, and more, all from the comfort of my home. You can get a month-to-month membership for $12 or an annual membership for $5 a month, which is billed at $59.95. You will make back your annual $60 membership back in savings, and if you don't, Thrive will credit you back the difference. Just on my most recent order, I saved $51.31. Also, orders over $49 ship for free. It's as simple as that. No tipping or other additional fees. I especially love how you can filter Thrive's entire catalog of products by diet and lifestyle, product types, and your favorite brands. This makes it so easy for me to shop because I can filter out to see only kosher and gluten-free products. All right, I'm sure you're excited to see what Thrive has to offer, so let me show you everything I got in my most recent order. My kids love to help me shop at Thrive, so you're gonna see them show up a lot in this order. First with these organic lollipops. We also got some packs of these ramen noodles. We all love ramen noodles in this house. I also stocked up on some of our favorite gluten-free pastas with some shells and farfalle. Is that even how you pronounce it? I don't know. Some popcorn kernels for our next movie night. I got a whole stack of my favorite cake mix. Another kid request, applesauce cups. Dish soap because we wash dishes. Not to forget baby Firefly. We got a little baby food to put in my purse for when we're out and about and he needs a snack. I grabbed some capers because it was an awesome price and I love throwing these on top of any of the pasta that we make. Coffee filters because coffee is life these days. Pamela's graham crackers because they are so hard to find around here and they are just the best for s'mores. And it is s'more season, you guys. Some gluten-free cheesy crackers for my son with celiac. A restock on our organic gluten-free macaroni and cheese. A couple of yummy cookie options for our next tea party or picnic. For a few purse snacks, because if you're a mom, you know, I got some granola bars and some fig bars. Calming tea, because calm and tea. And something I have never ever seen before in my life, gluten-free orzo. I am so very excited to play with this one. Now I know after seeing all that, you are totally ready to sign up for Thrive as I have and enjoy it as much as I do. So I've left, of course, all the information for you guys down in the description box and in my pinned comment below for 30% off of your first order and a free gift worth up to $60 when you join Thrive Market today. All right, and now let's get back to getting ready for Shabbat. Okay, so while that gluten-free one is in the oven, let's start working on the gluten one so that that will be ready to put in when the gluten-free one comes out. As you can see, I'm just going through the exact same process here for my gluten version. I'm just using the regular gluten Pepperidge Farm puff pastry sheet, spread out my mustard, add on my deli meat, roll it up, and add the sauce on top. Here is what the gluten-free version looks like once I have pulled that out of the oven. So that's that nice golden brown color that I was saying we are looking for. And then here are the gluten version ready to go into the oven. Okay, now that gluten deli roll is in the oven, gluten-free one is over here cooling on the stovetop, I am ready to get started on the cholent or hamin, whatever you want to call it. Cholent is kind of like the Ashkenaz word for it. Hamin is more the Sephardi word for it. We kind of use them interchangeably here in our home. Okay. Basically, what this is a traditional stew that we cook in the crock pot, and I'll start it now, and it's just gonna stay on low literally overnight until we're ready to eat it tomorrow at lunch. And it's like kind of a meat and potato sort of a stew, basically. So I have shared Mr. Firefly's recipe for this before, and I will link to that down in the description box below, and here I'll be sharing with you mine. But this dish is basically something that you can find in very commonly in Jewish homes. We haven't made it in a while, but I felt like making it today, so here we are. Let's go do it. All right, before we dive into the cholent, I just wanted to show you the gluten deli rolls once they have come out of the oven. Here they are. They look really pretty much the same. All right, let's get started on that cholent now. So first thing I'm going to do is take 2 onions and I'm going to peel these and then chop them up. I don't need to dice them or anything like that, just kind of chop them up a bit. Okay, after those are chopped up, I'm going to put them into a pan here on the stove with a little bit of avocado oil, and then I'm just going to saute those till the onions are cooked. All right, while the onions are cooking, I'm going to go ahead and peel these potatoes. I've got 5 potatoes here, and they're definitely on the small side. I'm using yellow potatoes, but you could use russet potatoes or really any kind of potatoes that you would like. All right, I am a super slow potato peeler, so by the time I was done peeling my potatoes, the onions were done. So I took the heat off of that and then added those onions into my crock pot. I do use a crock pot liner because that makes cleanup such a breeze. After the onions are in there, I'm adding in my peeled potatoes, and then I'm going to add in 1 cup of brown rice. I do not recommend white rice because it does not hold its shape in any form or fashion. Okay, now time for spices. I'm adding in 2 tablespoons of cumin, 2 tablespoons of coriander, and 3 tablespoons of paprika. All right, now I'm going to add in water just until all of my ingredients are covered. So for this many ingredients, I ended up using 12 cups of water. Now I'm just going to gently stir all of this together before adding in my meat. So this is just some meat that I pulled from our freezer. It is some boiled chuck roast. You can really use pretty much any meat you would like in this dish. I prefer to sear the meat first or boil it first. Okay, I'm just going to nudge those pieces under the water so they're also submerged. And then I'm adding in some raw eggs here on top, just in the shell. And then this will cook overnight and it will cook the eggs as well. Okay, and so that is how we make our cholent, our hameen. That is going to sit there in the crock pot on low for the next 24 hours until we're ready to eat lunch tomorrow. And then I'll be able to take it off and serve it then. One thing I will say about ours is that because we are making that gluten-free, I used brown rice in there. More traditionally, it would be to put barley in there. And many people also do put beans or chickpeas in. I just didn't today. I just didn't. It would be totally fine if I did. I just kind of totally forgot about it until literally just now that I'm talking to you guys. So I'm just gonna leave it out here at this point. Anyways. So those are the 2 big things that I wanted to get done today, was that deli roll and the cholent. I am also going to make an olive dip, but I'm going to do that a little bit later. So easy. We love olive dip in this house. It's delicious. We eat it with our challah on Friday night or Shabbat lunch or whatever. It's so good. Okay, I have got a fussy little baby Firefly down here on the floor and some hungry kids. So I'm going to work on lunch for all of them and I will check back with you guys here in a bit. Okay, so there I am minding my own business, eating my lunch, spilling a little bit on myself because, hey, that's what I do. And I realized I forgot to put the salt in the hameen. So I'm gonna add now about 3 tablespoons of salt to the hameen. Perk of doing this dish earlier in the day and just letting it sit overnight is that I can add things into it until Shabbat starts. So if I forget something, I can totally add that in. So anyways, I'm gonna add now probably about 3 tablespoons or so of salt. Okay, done. Now I can get back to some very boring things like putting away laundry and emptying the dishwasher and things like that, and then I will check back with you guys a little bit later when I am putting the finishing touches on the table. Okay guys, flowers on the table, and y'all know what that means. That means Shabbat is getting close. But before it comes, I do want to make one salad that I can contribute to our table tonight, and that is going to be olive dip. Olive dip is an absolute favorite with my kids, especially my oldest, and it's like the simplest salad in the world. It is only 2 ingredients. It is olives and it is mayonnaise. And I'm literally just gonna put these 2 in the blender, and it's delicious. We eat this with our challah. We just like dip our bread in it. So good. Okay, let's make it. Okay, so I've got 1 jar of olives. I have drained the olive juice out already, and I'm just gonna pour those into my blender. And then I'm going to add in ½ a cup of mayonnaise. And now all I need to do is blend. I am going to stop and scrape the sides so that the mayonnaise is fully mixed in there and that the olives are all ground up pretty well in there consistently. And there is the finished product. Okay friends, and that is it. That one is the olive dip. So simple. Okay. That's pretty much it. It's only about like 3 something in the afternoon, so Shabbat still is a few hours away. But I honestly don't really have anything left to do outside of like sweeping floors and things like that. And since baby Firefly is currently down for a nap, I figured this might be a good time to go ahead and film my clothes, because he is very much in the habit these days of crawling straight over to the camera as soon as I start talking and dragging the tripod wherever he feels like the camera should be. So anyhow, yeah, I think we're just gonna go ahead and call it a close here, because like I said, there's really nothing else happening today except for me sweeping the floors. So we might as well go ahead and call it a close here. So that is it. Thank you so much for coming along today as I got ready for Shabbat. I am so excited for Shabbat to be here. Looking forward to this nice, quiet family weekend together. So just a couple things before we go. Please give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it. Hit that like button. Don't forget to subscribe if you have not yet subscribed. Hit that bell and make sure you have all of your notifications turned on so that you don't miss any of my future videos. I would really love to see you here again. Drop me a comment down below. Let me know how your day is going and if you are going to be trying any of the food that I made today. And last but not least, don't forget to check out my favorite online grocery shopping store, Thrive. I've left all the information for you again down in the description box and in my pinned comment below. And with that, we are done. I hope you all have a fantastic rest of your day, and I will see you in my next upload. Here I make videos all about my life as an Orthodox Jewish homeschooling mother of 3. Oops, I said 3.